We can dive
We're gonna
straight
do
into it.
this
We are
again.
live. Jackie, so
I love it.
we've already talked a lot about this stuff, and I think you are definitely somebody of influence. And I've even gone to some of your I think, was it a seminar, or what exactly was that we went to? It was like a wealth, multi-generational wealth seminar that was like super.
Oh, that's right. You went to my workshop on right
Workshop.
on wealth
That's the word
building.
I was
You went to
looking
my
for.
workshop, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
we
No,
had
that
I
was,
had some guest speakers there.
yeah, that was great. I love the way you put, the panel with different people, and kind of brought value in different, different sectors
Aspect,
of the,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because I think we had someone there that was that showed people how to get free money for college
That was
for
great.
their kids, and then and then we had someone on credit consolidation, credit repair, and then I had Maurice, which is one of my partners, to do investing, real estate investing. So we
Right.
kind of had a little aspect of different ways to reduce your debt and then
Mhm.
increase your finances. Yep,
Right.
that was
No, that was
fun.
great.
Thank
That
you.
was very well rounded. I liked it. So Jackie,
So
just
you've
for any,
heard the spiel.
yeah, no, it was good. I remember. I like that. So Jackie, just for anybody who's watching that doesn't know who you are, can you just tell us quickly what you do and who you are?
Oh my gosh, that's I can. How long you can have all day or really quickly? So you
Just a
want
quick
to
one. A quick one.
very short. So I am a writer. I've written 3 books, an author. My first book is on family leadership. My second and third book is on real estate investing. The second one is called True Legacy Wealth, Creating Generational Wealth Through Real Estate Investing. And the third one is Real Estate for Women. It's actually an anthology. So
Hmm.
there's a bunch of us authors that came together, wrote a chapter about real estate investing. It's not specifically just for women, obviously, but we were targeting women because we wanted to empower the female to step up and take control of their finances and not just let their husband do it. And we wanted to gather women together. It's always nice to be able to come together with women and kumbaya. So as an author, and then so I always also do speaking engagements. I'm a
Hmm.
keynote speaker. I've done a lot of speaking engagement. I'm also a Toastmaster member. So that's kind of what I do, is like a passion to help people. And then I also have my business where I help family create generational wealth through real estate investing, just like my second book is about. We have
Right.
turnkey programs. The properties start at 75,000, single family. They cash flow. It's turnkey, meaning that you just have to purchase it. We have researched the property, so we
Hmm.
find it, we renovate it, and we will property manage for you. So none of those late night plumbing phone calls.
Right.
So we put our message on paper so that you can actually create money as soon as you can. And you doesn't the money, if you have a 401k, if you have an IRA, we can self-direct your IRA so that your IRA now can own real estate. It doesn't have to come out of a checking account. And we have very savvy ways of helping you create that down payment if you need it. And our goal is to have our clients in
Hmm.
less than 10 years making at least $10,000 a month passively.
Yeah. And Jackie,
And
sorry to cut
that's
you
with
off here.
investing. Oh, go ahead.
Remind me after this, I have someone that is potentially interested in getting going on something like that, turnkey, um, you know,
Okay,
real estate
sure.
investing and
Okay.
outside of California. So that's a good one. Remind me.
Yeah. It's out. Yeah, if you're wondering how we have properties that are 75,000, start at
Hmm.
75,000, because it's outside of California.
Right.
So it's if you go on Zillow, the average single family home across the United States, an average, I think it's in the mid 200,000.
Right.
So if you live in the metropolis area, of course that doesn't make sense, but you don't cash flow if you're buying homes in LA and New York.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get money right away every month outside of California.
Yeah. So Jackie, in your book, you do talk about 4 ways to make money. So what are those 4 ways that you can make money?
Yeah. Don't we love making money?
We do.
So the 4 ways that we can make money. Number 1, so I'll say 4 of them and then we'll get into each one. So it's cash flow, leverage, appreciation, and tax rules. So cash flow, we all understand what this is. You get a job, you exchange your time, and the employer gives you money. You have cash flow. You have a business like you and I, right? Our cash flow is unlimited. With the business, it doesn't necessarily have to be an exchange of time or money. You can make money while you're sleeping. The second one is leverage. And in a business, this means that you can borrow money or hire employees because you're leveraging your employees to make money for you. So then you can use, when you go to a bank and you borrow money, you're leveraging your company. So now when the bank gives you money, you use this money to hire more people, to get more equipment, whatever it is to make more money for your company. Of course, in a job, leveraging doesn't work. So if you have a job, all you can do is cash flow. The third one is appreciation. Now, if you're a homeowner or if you own any kind of property, we all understand what this is. So your property is appreciating in value. It's worth more money. So when it goes up in value, you're getting more money than what you bought it for. So of course, a job doesn't fit in this category because your job doesn't appreciate. It doesn't go up in value. You can't sell it, and you definitely cannot leave your job to your kids.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, you can't.
You can maybe give them a referral.
Yeah, there you go.
And then the last way, it's called tax rules. And all the rules are set up, all the tax code are set up for businesses to take advantage of all the laws and tax rules. So businesses are able to decide when, if, and how much they're going to pay in taxes. Now, we hear this about the big companies, the Amazon, the Apple, the Google, right? Like they didn't have to pay any taxes. And it's because of all the rules and loopholes that they have taken advantage of. It's not illegal, it's totally legal. And these rules only really apply to people that own a business. It doesn't really apply to people who make a wage. So if you're a W-2 earners, you can't really write off anything. And so how this fits in real estate is, as the real estate investor, you own real estate, you're also a business owner. And so you can depreciate the property, you can take expenses off when you're fixing the plumbing or you're hiring someone to fix the electrical, your property manager, all this stuff, you can write it off, right?
Yep.
And the tenants are paying your loan off for you. And in the end, you maybe put down on a $100,000 house, you only pay $20,000 and the tenants will pay the other 80%.
Yeah.
Beautiful scenario, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And they say, say that your primary resident is actually not an asset. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki talks about this. Your primary resident is not an asset. It's only when someone is paying you,
the liability,
you're
actually.
having to put that money. It's a liability, right?
Yeah.
And I think the other thing we talked about yesterday, or the other day, yesterday, was that if you have a business, you can actually hire your children to work for you. And you write it off. You write it off as a tax deduction, and then they get to use the money that you pay for them to them for college, for extracurricular activity, whatever they want. So you're paying for their education and their activities with pre-tax money, and that's the key.
That is genius. And I think you mentioned Robert Kiyosaki. He's also one of the people at the forefront of all this too. I'm assuming you're a fan, Jackie? I'm not
I
sure.
am a fan of his because, you know, he says he's all about real estate investing. You know, that's
Yeah,
one of, he has four squared. That's one of the square is real estate investing. You know, he talks about stocks and things like that.
yeah,
But I think real estate is the sure thing.
for sure. Yeah, I'm a big
Yeah.
believer. And one thing I wanted to touch on, kind of just like more geared towards the people in the South Bay and kind of the area we live in. A lot of people, you know, work in, you know, corporate jobs in El Segundo, and um, they're you know, not business owners. They're working for somebody,
Yeah.
and
W-2 earner.
yeah, exactly. And so there are a lot of a lot of their retirement depends on, you know, mutual funds, 401ks, and these types of investments. What are your thoughts on that, and how would you compare that to, you know, investing into real estate versus doing one of those investments?
Yeah. So I always use this scenario. I always
Yeah,
say, so if I went to you and I said, let's go into business together,
yeah,
you want to put all your money, it's going to be
hmm,
all your money. Out every month, I'm going to take a fee from
yeah,
that money to invest your money. And you don't have any control of what I am going to invest your money in. And you have to wait until you retire before you can withdraw any of the money.
right.
And the caveat is, I am not going to guarantee how much money will be there when you retire. What do you think of that business model?
It's a little bit of a risk. I don't like how much risk I'm taking on.
Yeah, you don't like have any control, right? It's
Right,
like,
the control. I like having control, and maybe that's just me, but I don't know. I do like having control of my money
yeah.
and what I'm doing.
But what are you doing when you put money in mutual funds company? Isn't that exactly what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I think it all just kind of it depends. I think, but at the end of the day, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you put up 100% of the capital.
Right.
You take 100% of the risk, but they don't put any money in. They don't take any risk.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the only thing I would say is historically, um, it's done well and it's been proven to do well, but there's, you know, downturns, and it's a little more, I would say, volatile than other investment areas. But um,
So,
for the
so
most part,
I'll,
yeah,
I'll answer that one. Yeah, the
sure.
most part, mutual fund has done well. How what we've seen is that with people living longer, that
Right.
mutual fund does not cover them until the day they die. If
Right.
you are living on mutual fund, it's really a question on, will you die first or will you run out of money first?
Yeah, exactly. And
And
people are
so,
they're running these calculations just long enough so that they're, you know, 90, and they're like, that's when I'm going to max out my money. But who
they
knows? Who
don't, and
knows
they
what could
don't,
happen?
right. And also they don't calculate in inflation and all the fees that the mutual fund companies are taking out. You know, they
Right.
say, oh, you know, if you put this amount of money in every month, you know, in 30 years, you're going to have $10 million. Well, $10 million in 20 years, you got to take off 30% of that, right? So even let's just make it easy. In 20 years, you're going to have $1 million. Well, that 1 million is now really only worth 700,000.
700,
You
yeah.
got to take 30% off, and then there's about 30% in mutual fund, the company fee, that you got to take off. So that's really 60%. So that 1 million is what you're going to have is about 400,000.
Yeah, right.
And if you don't believe when I say that the mutual fund companies is making about 30% in fees, you need to go and Google Frontline
Hmm.
Investigative Report. They did a segment called The Retirement Gamble. The
Yeah.
Retirement Gamble, and it's a like a 50-minute show because they don't have commercials obviously on that. And you'll see they actually did a complete investigative report on the mutual fund companies, and they even admit that the
Yeah.
mutual fund companies admit what we're saying.
Right.
And you'll see why you're not going to be able to live on your mutual funds.
Right. Yeah. So I guess that kind of leads into, I guess, my next question here. I was going to say, and I'm assuming this would be your answer, but why do you think it would be better to, instead of investing into, mutual funds or having your IRAs, why is it better to invest into real estate? Or do you think it's worth maybe putting a little bit into each? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, diversification is always good.
Hmm.
But for most Americans, like we don't have millions of dollars to invest. And I
Right.
believe real estate is a solid buy, because really, if you bought a property 25 years ago, anywhere, pick anywhere in the United States, you
Yeah.
bought it 25 years ago, it gone up. No, I
Right.
mean, even through all the downturn, it's going to go up. You're going to have money coming in every month from tenant, and this money is based on market rent, right?
Right.
uh Pick any stock 25 years ago, you're taking a chance. There are
Hmm.
millions of stock. Yeah, maybe if you pick the top 500, you'll be better off, but you got to know what you're doing, right? With
Sure.
property, it's very different. I think it's much more stable. It's easier for people to understand.
Right.
People know what real estate investing is. They don't need to take all these classes. If they get a good
Uh-huh.
property manager, which we have,
Yeah.
it's pretty much a done deal.
Jackie, I
And
have another
and I
question for you, and it's a little more like personal for myself. Um,
Yeah.
I have this debate very often with my friends and my family members. What do you think is why do you think it's better to invest, outside of California or versus investing in California? Or is that even the case? Do you believe it's better to invest outside of California? And
So
what are the
it
reasons?
it depends. So there's no good or bad. It
Right.
depends on what your strategy is. Okay. So
Sure.
investing in California, if your goal is appreciation and you have extra cash to put into that property to
Yeah.
cover the difference in what the property is worth and what the tenants are going to pay you, then by all means, invest in Los Angeles area, because
Sure.
when you sell that in 5 to 10 years, you're going to make a lot of more money.
Right.
Most people I know don't have a few $1,000s lying around to have to supplement every month. They're actually looking for money to get in their account. So then
Right.
now we want to go outside, because for a single family home, let's say for 150,000, you're getting a few $100s a month. You add
Flowing.
10 homes like that, you can have it, right? And
Right.
so that's why what your strategy is, and your strategy depends on what your goal is and how much money you have right now.
Sure.
Once you have enough money, then the savvy investor that have bigger portfolios, they will invest in Los Angeles for
Right.
appreciation, and they'll invest in Georgia and Tennessee and
Mm.
Texas for cash flow.
And do you believe, what would you recommend? Let's say it's a first time buyer, because a lot of people that do watch this in my audience is a lot of younger individuals who are, just getting ready to start investing into real estate. Would you say the first investment, I've heard it should be multifamily if possible, if you're able to do that? Would you recommend going single family or multifamily? And
I
why?
recommend single family, because single
Mhm.
family is going to be much easier to sell
Right.
than multi-units, right? When you're doing multi-units, you're talking about a different type of buyer,
Right.
and more tenants to deal with, more
Sure.
issues. And if it's the first time, you can flip a single family very quickly and get into another one or
Yeah.
add to your portfolio.
Very interesting. Yeah, that would be good. That's good for some of the younger people watching. I think they'll get some value out of that.
Yeah,
But later down the road, it
yeah.
might be,
And
yeah,
yeah, definitely. You can get it into a fourplex, which still, is still considered a regular conventional loan. You're not
yeah,
getting into commercial property. Yeah, for sure.
right. So Jackie, another thing, with all these, different investments, and you got your job and you got your business running, there's a lot of balls to juggle, and there's a lot of, it's a clutter in the mind with everything, trying to, take it to the next level. So what would you say about time management? What is time management for you?
Yeah, I consider time management, I always tell people, time management is really about choice management.
Right.
Because time management is like an art.
Sure.
Would you say? It's not really
Oh,
a science,
definitely.
it's an art, right? It's an art of like arranging, organizing, scheduling, budgeting your time, right? It's like it's
Hmm.
almost like a business, and you want to stay on your goals. You want to be effective and be productive, and so all those things you have to literally put your mindset into it and put your energy in it. So if you're going to put yourself into something, you're going to choose to do it, and it's going to be probably something that you are excited about. And if you're not excited about something, you're not going to put your energy in it, and it's probably going to keep going down that to-do list. And we call that procrastination, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because it doesn't really excite you. I mean, look at your
Right.
list of things that you're supposed to do. Ask yourself, why am I not doing it?
Hmm.
Is it because it doesn't really excite you? It doesn't really meet your goals? You don't know why you have to do it?
So you would
Maybe it's
say
too big of a task.
that you kind of need to find ways to, um, make something exciting for yourself or worthwhile to put that energy and time into so it doesn't go down the list, or what would you say is like the best way to manage your
Yes.
time so you're working more efficiently so that, um, you know, take it to the next level?
I think it's all of that, but the big thing is know your why.
Yeah.
If you know why you're doing something, and you put all of these, like even if it's taking out the trash, right? Like
Right.
if your big why is I want a beautiful clean house, it makes me feel better because the energy is better. And when I take out the trash, that also signifies things that I don't want anymore. It's dirty, and it's being in the house means that it's cluttering my mind and my energy. It's not about taking trash out now. It's
Hmm.
about creating a space that is purposeful and the highest level energy. You might want to take that trash out sooner than just like the mundane, oh my God, I got to take that trash out.
Right. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so I think when it comes on a mindset level, connect it to why you want to do these things. How does it connect to your big why in your life? Making money, having a healthy lifestyle, getting a relationship. I can
Yeah.
tell you if you're single and you want a girlfriend, your house is a mess, she's
Yeah.
probably not
Might be
gonna
tough.
like that too much.
That's true.
So that
Yeah.
might be a motivation to get a girlfriend to clean up your house.
Right.
But I think the other two things that we have touched on is that
Hmm.
it's this fear of failure and this fear of success,
Right. Yeah.
that we don't do something and then it reflects how we manage our time. Because, right, we're afraid that we're going to succeed.
Right.
And so we don't want to put times, then we have an excuse like, no, I don't have time to go exercise,
Hmm.
right? But then it's like, then I don't lose weight, I don't get healthy. But if there's
Right.
something inside you that said you're never going to be good enough, you're never going
Yeah.
to get into a relationship, just keep the weight,
Something.
because at least you
Yeah.
have an excuse of why you can't do things, because the weight is keeping you from doing it. There's your reason. You got to get rid of that gremlin voice first.
Right. I think that's super interesting that there is a lot of times it's not necessarily that, you're not capable of doing it. It's just something mentally just blocking you from allowing yourself to take it, that next step.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so what do you think is like a tactic you might be able to use in one of those situations where you could be, leveling up in your job and you're taking your business to the next level? What's like a tactic that you recommend for somebody who it wants to do that, but is holding themselves back? It's not even that there's some strategy, magic strategy. There's something internally that they're holding themselves back.
So there's internal and there's external, right? So let's talk
Yeah.
about the internal. I think a tactic internally, I call it shadows, or shadows are what's kind of hiding, right? You don't want to acknowledge it. It's there. like you walk around and there's your shadow, but you can't see, it's usually behind you.
Right.
And so you're going to need to do some deep meditation to see where that came from. And
Mhm.
there's patterns in shadows. You know, you may have always gotten let go of a same job. I knew
Right.
one of my coaches, she kept getting sales job, and every time she went in sales, she kept getting let go or fired. And
Mm.
then she realized that maybe sales is not where she should be doing, and she started going to coaching, and she thrived. So sometimes the universe and your
Small tweak.
body really, yeah, you got to see the relationship where what it's telling you, because sometimes we do things because society tells us we should do it, right? Like you should go to school, get a job, stay in that miserable job until you retire, and get married, have kids. And we're so ingrained with some of these habits that's not
Right.
even ours. And
Yeah.
so those, and then we create gremlins, and gremlins are that little, I think of it, that little furry creature that's really cute, but then you water it, it turns into like this monster. And so it brings out the fear. You know, when
Yeah.
we water our gremlin, it grows bigger in fear. And that is
Yeah.
what's going to keep you from anything in life,
Right.
any success in life. It's your inner work.
And
I
I
think
think
you've
it's,
done a lot of it.
yeah, I think it's all around us too. And I think people don't realize it as much as it is actually out there. For example, you know, like society, I don't want to say like everybody lives up to this standard, but for the most part, people will say if you're making six figures, like you're good, you know, you're comfortable. And that's not necessarily true. Why should six figures be the standard, or why is that
Yeah,
considered
yeah,
comfortable? You know, like um,
yeah.
why is seven figures not that the case? You know, but it's
Right,
pretty much,
right.
yeah, it's
And
everywhere.
if you make six figure, are you happy? I
Right.
know lots of people in their job make six figure and they're miserable. They have health issues
Hmm.
because they're just stressed out. Would
Yeah.
you want to make six figure in that job if that's what your body is putting you through?
Right.
So
So would you say
there's a part
the
where
real question that people need to ask themselves internally is, am I happy? Is that the question?
you know, I think, am I happy and what have I always wanted to do? And I think with this COVID 19, I mean, right? What am I saying?
COVID-19.
19.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So with what's going on right now, I think the universe is really shining that mirror at everybody and saying, stay in your home. This is my mirror to you. Look at your life. Look at where you are.
Yeah.
I am taking away everything that's happening out there. You are not missing anything in life. Go inside your home, which is really going inward. You have
Yeah.
all of the information in front of you. Look at your life right now. Are you going in the direction where you want to be? Are you feeling blissful? Are you feeling fulfilled? And if you're not, this is the time. We have weeks, maybe
Right.
even months where nothing is going to be happening. This is the best time to go inward. Look at your shadow. Look at the gremlins. What are you saying to yourself? And
Yeah,
face that.
for sure. Yeah,
And
no, it is a great,
and we
yeah. No, it's a great opportunity right now. I think hopefully a lot of people are listening to kind of what you're saying, and are acknowledging and just being aware that this is the case, and it's a great opportunity. I personally feel it on a personal level. I usually feel some like social pressure to go out with my friends on the weekends, you know, go to the,
Yep.
you know,
See, now you don't have that.
I don't feel like that anymore. I feel great at the weekends. I'm more focused on, you
Yeah.
know, my business and my health, and overall it's actually been good.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
I miss people.
And this is what I do when I work with business people. We work on their shadows first because you've got to
Yeah,
get the roadblocks out of the way before you can hit your goals. And so if there's anybody out there who is having a problem, because sometimes we don't even see the shadow. We've lived with it like our best friend so long, and we don't realize that that's what's keeping us back. If they
right,
want to reach out to me, I'm here to help,
for sure.
to help people look at what's going on in their life, where they want to go. It's one of my specialty. I use energy work, I use leadership, I use all kinds of
Nice.
modality to help people get to where they want to be.
Yeah. I think it's also, that's great. I didn't know that, by the way. Um, I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's cool. I think it's great that,
That's really what my passion is. Real estate investing is just something I do. Like,
right.
it's just one thing that I do, but my passion is really to get people
Hmm.
to be in a place where they are just so
Happy.
happy with where they are in life. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're on their purpose, on their why, and I can teach them modalities that they've never even heard of
Yeah.
to
And
clear all of that muck in their behind.
I think part of that has to do, and it kind of goes full circle there, because I think part of that has to do with financial freedom, allowing you to do whatever you want to do whenever you want. And
Yeah.
I think real estate investing is actually one of the great ways to get to that financial freedom sooner and more efficiently and long term. So it does come full circle. But like I was saying, the time management, there's a lot of different things that you got to be juggling. What would you say there? Is there like one word that you would give somebody for time managing that you think is like one of the most powerful words that sticks out to you?
Yeah, yeah. So before I get there, I want to
Yeah,
share one tactic.
cool.
And that is, I think most of us have about 15, 20 things that we can do in less than 15 minutes.
Right.
And when we were running around busy, we just kind of had it as the to-do list, right? And so
Yeah,
now is a great time to look back at that list, because we're going to have many blocks during the day. And when all this ends, you're gonna have a client that's running late. You're gonna be sitting in the doctor's office in the waiting room, and while you're doing this, sitting there waiting, you can just pull up this list right away. And maybe it's to make an appointment with a doctor, maybe it's to return an email, whatever it is, you can do
yeah,
it quickly without having to think about it. And
right.
so that's productivity. That's the outward thing. That's a tactic outward. And I
That's a
think
great one.
another, and you said, what's the one most powerful word? I always love this,
Hmm.
because we know it, but we forget. So no is the most powerful word in
Yeah.
the time management vocabulary.
And why is that, Jackie? I'm curious.
Because I think we have been conditioned
Hmm.
when we got older that it was somehow bad to say no to something.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how many times people have asked me, oh, can you help me move this weekend, or can you help me
yeah,
do this? And instantly I just say yes, right? Like, it's just an automatic response that I say yes. And then I end up getting stressed later, because I'm like, gosh, I really don't want to do that, I really should be doing this and something. And then so you're stressing out yourself.
right. But there is a balance that you need
And
to have between, not being a complete, mean person and saying no to
pushover.
somebody. Right.
Yeah. And so I think the balance for me is just taking a pause and
Yeah.
saying, hey, let me check my calendar. Let me check my wife, my girlfriend, schedule. I use my children all the time. Let
Right.
me check their schedule and see what's going on. I'll think about it. Simple. Let me think about that. And I'll get back with you, so that they know you're not just brushing them off. Let me think about it. Let me get back with you in an hour, tomorrow, this weekend, next week, just so that you have a pause. And
Regroup,
that
think about
pause,
it.
right. And that pause, I want to talk about pause really quick. That pause is
Hmm.
not just good for time management and, after you say no, but in your day. I think we barrel through what we need to do. And then we think, when I finish this task, I'll stop, I'll pause. But really, you should pause in the middle of the task. Do you want to know
Right.
why?
That's interesting. Yeah.
So the thing,
So why is it?
because when you pause in the middle, you're leaving room for insights
Hmm.
to come through. Maybe it's an insight on a way you can do it faster, a way you can do it better, or some other insight for something else to come through. When we are so barreling through things, we're missing also what else could be possible.
Right. Yeah. It's
So
interesting.
I suggest, when you're going through a task, you could always even set a time on your clock timer, your phone timer, at 9 a.m., at noon, at 3, at 6, like on the third hour, just to take a
Pause.
pause. Just 1 minute, just so you can breathe through your body again, take that deep breath, and just pause and just think,
Yeah.
like, where am I? Lift your head up.
Yeah. And as weird as it sounds, it almost sounds like, and as a business owner, I'm running all day. I'm meeting,
Yep.
I have this I got to do for a policy for a client, whatever. I'm just going, going, going. And it sometimes feels like taking that step back almost like gives me like anxiety. I'm like, why am I not doing anything right now? But if you look at the big picture of it, doing what you're saying is actually probably significantly more efficient because you're thinking through and organizing, and overall can have
Yep.
some dramatic impacts, which is,
Yeah, and that
a great
pause could
tip.
be like 60 seconds. Could be
Yeah.
60 seconds. You can afford 60 seconds to just step away from, like you said, running around, because you got to think, running around trying to get, that's very stressful on your
Yeah.
body, on your mind, on your spirit, right? And then now you're basically taking an exhale, like it's like you're holding your breath and you're sprinting through the whole day, and your body has
Hmm.
no time to just take a breath.
Right. No,
And
that's a great tip.
in that breath, you're going to let me know, but in that breath, as you do this on a regular basis, insights are going to come in. You're going to pivot. You're going to feel yourself realizing certain things about your emotion, what you're thinking and feeling and what you're doing. You're going to pivot to something different and something better.
Yeah.
That's what's profound when you just pause.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, Jackie, I have one last thing for you here. We got to wrap it up. Do you have
Sure.
a go-to quote that you live by? I know you probably have something in your book,
Yeah,
or something,
I
a mantra.
do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have one. I was
Hmm.
like outwards and inwards, right? So
Right.
my outward Jim Rohn, it says, "Don't wish it gets easier, wish you get better." So I have this entrepreneurial mindset, Renaissance type of woman, where I always just want to learn more and do more, and that's my doing part. Don't wish it gets easier, wish you get better.
I
And
love it.
then my inner quote from Maya Angelou, it says, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it." And that's from the beautiful Maya Angelou. And that always grounds me, because whatever I'm going through that I think is just so horrible, I know that it's just going to make me a better person.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think it's something you hear pretty common. It's pretty frequent. You have the fail forward. It's a good one to say. Fail forward, and you have to
Yeah.
go through that adversity so that you come out on the other side. I think that's what I got from it. I don't know what it kind of means to you,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah,
And on a global scale, we are going through that adversity right
for
now. And
sure.
so we're all going to go forward no matter what happens.
I think weirdly, something is happening with the world right now that's it's gonna come out on a positive note. Um, hopefully. But
It will. Put that
yeah,
intention, right? About putting intention out there.
right.
And always, the time that you had the most adversity, that when you felt like you could not get up and you did, those are the time that you look back and you always say, "I would never change that time." You wish that at the time, you wish that it didn't happen, but going forward, you're like, that was actually the most growth, and that's what changed me
Yeah.
and my whole life direction. So we're in the muck of it, so it's gonna feel horrible. Um, and when 10 years from now, 15, 5 years from now, we're gonna
Hmm.
look back and say that is the best thing that ever happened,
Right.
because we're taking the pause.
Exactly. I think just you saying that message right now, if somebody hears this and they just take a step back and they're just present and they realize that one day they're going to look back at this, and this is actually going to be one of the best moments of their life. You
Yep.
know, or, you know, they're going to be most proud of moments like this.
Yeah.
If you could get more present and just be aware of that now, then you can enjoy this, you know, like you said, the difficult part about it. So enjoy it, enjoy the struggles.
Yeah. Yeah. And if anyone has the feel to reach out to me,
Sure.
please reach out. I'm here to listen, to give advice,
Yeah,
just whatever they need.
for sure. We'll throw your contact in there, Jackie. And I really appreciate you doing this. I
Yeah,
know.
they can actually just go to my website,
Okay.
integrativeminds.com, and they can book a half-hour time with me right there on my website.
Okay, perfect. And we'll make sure we'll put everything in the description. So if anybody wants to reach out, we'll do that. So
Okay.
thank you, Jackie. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
All right, see ya. Bye.